New York Rangers Alexis Lafreniere finally had that breakout season that we've all been waiting for as Rangers fans back last season in 2023-2024, where he ended up putting up a career high in goals, assists, and points, playing alongside guys like Panarin and Trocheck in the top six there. And obviously, yes, they did have a factor in him having a career high in all those categories, but Lafreniere himself ended up having a great season. He ended up playing really good himself, and the goals he created for himself and for others, he really did a lot of that. He wasn't just a passenger on that line. He was a line driver at moments last season as well, really kind of creating his own goals and his own chances with his amazing hands, his amazing hockey IQ as well. So he's a very talented forward. He finally had that breakout season as a guy who's still very young as well, and that's the thing. You know, he obviously goes first overall there with all the COVID stuff going on like that. That may have definitely kind of messed with his development a bit there as well. But to begin his NHL career, you know, he obviously didn't quite have that chance to play in the top six there alongside, you know, actual star level guys, you know, true top six caliber forwards. He ended up playing mostly in that bottom six there, not getting a ton of ice on there, not getting much power play time at all, if any, at moments. So obviously, the power play time isn't quite here yet as well, but this is a player who was getting a ton more ice time as well. I mean, this season, he's already averaging about a minute and 15 seconds or so more of ice time this season than last season. So things are going up for sure. Obviously, not getting that kind of consistent number one power play time, but still, this is a player who's going to get more ice time probably in the power play this season, I'd imagine for sure, as well as just overall in general this season as well. He's a very talented forward, and if he can have another breakout season, this is a guy who can truly be a huge part of this New York Rangers team, although he already is. I mean, take a look at this past playoff run. It really came down to, I would say, Lafreniere, Trocheck, and Igor Shesterkin for the kind of top three guys for the Rangers in this past playoff run, where they ended up losing in Game 6 to the Florida Panthers. Igor was definitely number one there, but Lafreniere was phenomenal, and so was Trocheck. So that line was great, but I think in general there, with what Lafreniere has done, you know, this past season there in the playoffs as well, having that phenomenal run, and what we've seen so far, I truly do think he's going to have another monster season, and I really do think we're going to see Lafreniere, assuming he stays, you know, quite healthy, probably have over 80 points this season, and very well could end up reaching or getting very close to the 90-point mark as well. I would not be surprised at all. This is a guy who, with a bit more power play time than last season, could very well end up hitting around that kind of mark there, the 80 to 90 kind of point mark. He's a very talented forward, can definitely hit 30-plus goals. I would not be shocked at all. Last season had 28, and him putting up, you know, around 40 plus assists as well, something around there, would not be insane in my opinion at all either. So this is the guy playing alongside two-star guys, obviously in Panarin and Trocheck, who are very talented, but obviously himself, he's a great player, and that line has a lot of great chemistry, and I really do think we could see a monster season of Lafreniere here, and obviously if he does have that big year, he's a guy who is going to be looking to sign a pretty big contract, it seems like, next offseason, as he is a restricted free agent currently. Now, maybe there is a deal that does get done at some point throughout this season. That is a possibility there, but he could sign an extension at some point. Maybe he wants to wait until this upcoming summer, obviously, to sign his next deal, as he will be on RFA. So we'll have to wait and see. He's still very young, and he could kind of wait and for himself hope to have, you know, a kind of 90-point season here to really kind of drive up his value and, you know, maybe get an extra million or two on kind of what the negotiation or offer is right now, possibly with Lafreniere and Drury. Obviously, we don't know exactly what's gone on and what offers have been, but we have had a kind of reported kind of range for a possible deal from Frank Saravalli, as he basically kind of gave a little update here for the New York Rangers and Alexis Lafreniere in that kind of contract situation, as he ended up saying on X here. I did have a video kind of covering this more in depth a couple days ago, but I kind of want to just go more in depth on what Lafreniere has done this season, but also take a look at what this contract update was from Frank Saravalli as well. He ended up saying, with so much focus on Igor Shesterkin, New York Rangers have also been working on a deal with Alexis Lafreniere going back to summer. Talks ongoing, different options on table. One of them, 8 years times $8 million range. And like I said in another video as well, I think that's a pretty good deal there. We can lock him up on something around this or even lower than that. If we could somehow get him on an 8-year deal at 7.5 or 7.75, like right now in the coming months, something like that before, next summer, before this end of the season here, where he could possibly drive his value, I think that could be an absolute steal of a contract. You take a look at Dylan Gunther there and kind of what he's doing right now and his talent and stuff like that and his contract. I think a guy like Lafreniere there, if we can get him locked up as soon as possible here on anything, 8 times 8 or lower or at that number there, I would be more than happy with for Lafreniere. He's a guy who, in the coming years, when this cap goes up, obviously a ton, in the coming seasons, he could look like an absolute steal of a contract if he does sign something around 8 times 8. So hopefully that gets done at some point in the future. But Lafreniere is a guy who I think really kind of was able to take that big step forward in his overall development in game. Once Peter Laviolette last season obviously put him alongside guys like Peter and Trocheck, but I feel like Laviolette probably really kind of showed his confidence and belief in Lafreniere to really kind of obviously giving him that top 6 minutes there, playing alongside, his Laviolette's star player, superstar guy in Panarin. And arguably at this point now, I mean, not arguably at this point, he is the number one center of this team, Vincent Trocheck. So Peter Laviolette obviously gave a lot of faith there to Lafreniere to put him alongside those players there, and it worked out there. I always had faith in Lafreniere to really kind of end up breaking out at some point there if he just had that chance to consistently be in the top 6 there and can get consistent minutes alongside the same guys there, because at moments in the past, he had that time in the top 6 there, but it was for maybe a week or two at most, and then he was kind of going up and down a bit between like the first line, the second line, then go to the third line, fourth line for a long time, then up to the second line for a minute there, then he's back down after a couple shifts or whatever it is. He just constantly was going back up and down with the time of ice that he was playing. Obviously, with also the line mates as well was changing a lot. So for a young player's development, I can't imagine that helped out things too much. But now getting consistent line mates there, consistent ice time, I think he's really kind of blossomed here under Peter Laviolette and playing alongside guys like Panarin and Trocheck, who are obviously star players themselves, but really and truly, Alexis Lafreniere has really broken out himself with his overall talent. He's really kind of shown that, and obviously this was a player who was so dominant at the junior level there, playing for the Rimouski Oceanic at the QMJHL level there. In that league, he was so dominant. He was also very dominant for Team Canada after World Juniors. He was the MVP that one season, helping Canada win gold. So this is a player who has been so dominant over his hockey career so far at the junior level. It took him a bit to get going at the NHL level, but he's finally really kind of blossomed at the NHL level here under Peter Laviolette, and is really showing everyone what he can do. And it's really quieted a lot of the haters there as well, because this was a guy who was labeled as a bust by so many, but I stuck by him for the entire time there. Even a lot of Rangers fans, some of them, kind of fell off a Lafreniere train as well, but I was always a big fan of his, and I'm really happy to see him finally really kind of have that monster season last year, but also really kind of carry that so far into this season as well. And my Alexis Lafreniere point prediction for this upcoming season is going to be about 36 goals and 47 assists for 83 total points. I think he's probably going to be just over a point per game, and this is kind of assuming he does stay pretty much fully healthy as well. If he misses more than, 3 or 4 games, I might switch up a little bit, but if he plays it pretty much full entire season, I think he's probably going to get just over a point per game here, and will probably be around that kind of maybe low to mid 80s point range, in my opinion, possibly by the end of the season, especially if he does continue to play alongside 2 great players like Panarin and Trocheck, and possibly continue to get a little more ice time on the power play here and there. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more New York Rangers content. If you're a Rangers fan, there's no better place to be on YouTube than this channel, so hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more Rangers content. And also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts and predictions on Alexis Lafreniere's point totals for this upcoming season. I gave you mine, so definitely comment down below yours as well. We can take a look at them at the end of the season here as well and kind of see who was right, who was wrong here. Like I said, my final guess is going to be something around about 83 points there for Alexis Lafreniere. So we'll see kind of what he ends up obviously getting at the end of the season there. But my guess is going to be pretty much a little over a point per game there, something around 83 points as my final guess. Comment down below your predictions / guesses on Alexis Lafreniere's final point total. How many think it's going to be? 50 points, 60, 70, 80, 90 even. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one. See ya.